Section 9.1, Graphing Quadratic Functions, Day 2. Steps for sketching the graph of the parabola. Step 1, state whether the graph goes up or down. If A is positive, the graph, if A is a positive, the graph goes up. If A is negative, the graph goes down. To find the x value of the vertex, we use the formula x equals negative b over 2a. Then, when you find x, you plug it into the equation to find your y. Step 3, the axisymmetry is always x equals, and it is the x value of your vertex because it's a vertical line that cuts the parabola in half. Step 4, the y-intercept is 0c, and then you'll have to find the corresponding point. Now, if your y-intercept and its corresponding point is really close to the vertex, then you're going to need to get another set of extra points, which we will talk about that in a few minutes. Example 3a. First thing we're going to do is identify our a. Our a is 2, and 2 is a positive, so it is going up. Then we have to locate our vertex. Again, the formula for vertex is x equals negative b over 2a. b is 4, so that's a negative 4 over 2 times 2. So that's negative 4 over 4, which is negative 1. So the x value of the vertex is negative 1. We have to find the y value of the vertex. So to find the y value, everywhere we see x, we plug in negative 1. So y equals, we're going to plug in negative 1 squared is positive, right there. Negative 1 squared is a positive 1 times 2 is 2. Then 4 times negative 1 is a negative 4 minus 3. 2 minus 4 is a negative 2, and a negative 3 is a negative 5. So your vertex is negative 1, negative 5. The axis of symmetry is always a vertical line. The equation of a vertical line is x equals the x value of your vertex, which is negative 1. The y-intercept is 0c, so that's 0c is negative 3. Okay, let's go ahead and stop here and let's graph plot what we know. Our point is negative 1, negative 5, y-intercept is 0, negative 3. Now we need to draw your axisymmetry, which is a vertical line at the vertex. Now I can't do a dotted line. This doesn't do dotted. Well, yes it does. There we go. Now we need to find the corresponding point. From the axisymmetry, we went one to the right, so we go one to the left. And that ordered pair is negative 2, negative 3. Now we need some extra points. So we know that our parabola is going to be looking something like this. So it's going to be to the left of this point or to the right of that point. What is to the left? Let me erase this, sorry. Okay, so in the right direction is either we want to the right of this point or to the left of this point. To the right of this point, which is the right of 0, 1. So I'm going to plug in 1 for x. So 1 squared is 1 times 2 is 2, plus 4 times 1 is 4. So that's 6 minus 3 is 3. So the ordered pair is 1, 3. And then the corresponding point to that, from the x symmetry, we want 2 to the right, so we go 2 to the left. And that is the corresponding point, which is the ordered pair, negative 3, 3. The domain is all real numbers. And your range. Now, we can draw our parabola. I'm a little off, sorry about that. Okay, all the points are greater than the vertex. So the range, y, is greater than the y value of your vertex, which is negative 5. Example 3b. Now that's y equals negative x squared. I would rewrite it with putting a 1. So that's negative 1x squared plus 6x plus 4. The a is negative, so it is going down. Your vertex. To find the x value of vertex, it's negative b over 2a. So that's negative 6 over 2 times a is a negative 1. 2 times a negative 1 is a negative 2. Negative 6 divided by negative 2 is a positive 3. Then we're going to plug in 3 into this equation. 3 squared is 9 times a negative 1 is a negative 9. Plus 6 times 3 is 18 plus 4. Negative 9 plus 18 is positive 9 plus 4 is 13. The axis of symmetry is x is equal to 3. Your y-intercept is 0, c, 0, 4. All right, now I'm going to graph. Now the vertex is 3, 13. That's a little off my graph, but I can extend it. 0, 4, right here. Now I'm going to draw my axis of symmetry, which is a vertical line at 3. Oh, doing a terrible job in my straight line. Okay, so from the axis of symmetry, I went 1, 2, 3 to the left, so I'm going to go 1, 2, 3 to the right. And that ordered pair is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 4. Okay, I'm going to come up with some extra points. Now, this graph is going downward. So, I need to find numbers to the left of this point or to the right of this point. To the left of this point in this direction is a negative 1. So I'm going to plug in a negative 1 for x. So y equals negative 1 squared is a positive 1 times a negative 1 is a positive 1. 6 times a negative 1 is a negative 6 plus 4. So 1 minus 6 is a negative 5 plus 4 is a negative 1. Okay, I made an error here. I'm going to plug in negative 1. Negative 1 squared is a positive 1 times a negative 1 is a negative 1. Plus 6 times a negative 1 is a negative 6 plus 4. So -1 and a -6 is a -7, plus 4 is a -3. And then I went 4 to the right, left, so I need to go 1, 2, 3, 4 to the right. So the ordered pair is 7, -3. So there is my problem. The domain is all real numbers, and the range, everything is below the vertex, so that's y is less than or equal to the y value of the vertex, which is 13. Example C, A is negative, so it is going down the vertex. Again, it's negative b over 2a. So that's -6 over 2 times the -3 is -6 over -6, which is a +1. Now I'm going to plug in 1. 1 squared is 1 times -3 is a -3 plus 6 minus 5. -3 plus 6 is 3. 3 minus 5 is a -2. The axis of symmetry is x is equal to 1. The y-intercept is 0, -2. Well, that can't be right. Y-intercept is 0, C, which is 0, -5, sorry. Now I'm going to draw my axis symmetry. For the axis symmetry, I went 1 to the left, so I go 1 to the right. And that ordered pair is 2, -5. All right, now my extra points. What's to the left of 0 is -1, or to the right of 2, which is 3. I'm going to plug in a 3. So that's 3 squared is 9. 9 times -3 is a -27. Plus 6 times 3 is 18. -27 plus 9 is plus 18 is a -9. -9 minus 5 is a -14. Now that's off my graph. I have two options. I cannot plot it, or I can plot it, just go extend it, which is way down here. And the corresponding point would be -1, 14. Or -1, -14. Domain is all real numbers, and your range, your y value, all your points are below the vertex, so that's y is less than or equal to the y value of your vertex, which is -2. This is going down the vertex. The x value of the vertex is -b over 2a, so that's -2 over 2 times -2 is a -4, which is 1/2. Oh, this is why I skipped this problem, because of the fraction. And we're going to go ahead and skip this one. Okay, now on the worksheet, numbers 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 9, 10, and 12 are the problems that will need extra points. So numbers 3, 7, 8, and 11, your y-intercept in the corresponding point is very far from your vertex, and you won't be able to fit any more points that fit on this graph. So you're okay with just having 3 points for those 4 problems.